The science of storytelling. Stories have power to captivate, inspire and transform the way we see the world. Will Storr, author of The Science of Storytelling, has revealed 6 key principles that are essential for great stories. These are change, cause and effect, moral outrage, effectness, Eudaimonics, and the God moment. These principles provide tips for crafting compelling narratives that resonate with audiences on an emotional and intellectual level. So let's explore the 6 principles in more detail. 1. Change. At the heart of every great story is change. Characters must evolve, learn, or transform in response to the events they experience. This transformation, whether positive or negative, drives the narrative forward and keeps audiences engaged. A classic example of this principle is Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, who begins as a miserly man but undergoes profound change after being confronted by the ghosts of Christmas past, present and future. 2. Cause and effect. Change stimulates our interest in a story, as it makes us want to know what is the effect of the change and what does it mean for the characters. Therefore, a compelling story must have change but also be built on a logical chain of cause and effect. Stories are about human psychology and action. When a character makes a choice, that choice must trigger a meaningful consequence, whether that is in their internal or external world. This causal chain keeps the story dynamic and emotionally engaging. A great example is Breaking Bad, where Walter White's decisions, often driven by pride and fear, lead to a cascade of escalating consequences, making his transformation feel both inevitable and tragic. 3. Moral outrage. Storr argues that stories often evoke moral outrage, a deep emotional reaction to perceived injustice. This principle is particularly powerful because humans are wired to seek fairness and justice. When a story presents a moral dilemma or an injustice, it captures attention, motivates us to want to find a conclusion, and elicits strong emotional engagement. A strong example is To Kill a Mockingbird, where the trial of Tom Robinson evokes moral outrage at the racial injustice in society, reinforcing the story's emotional depth and message. 4. Effectness. Effectness links to cause and effect, as something has to happen next, and also to make things tangible. This means showing rather than telling, making abstract ideas tangible through sensory detail and immersive storytelling. Storr highlights that humans process information best when it's delivered through action, imagery and emotion rather than exposition. A classic example is The Great Gatsby, where Scott Fitzgerald doesn't just tell us that Gatsby is obsessed with the past, he shows it through powerful imagery, such as Gatsby reaching towards the green light, a symbol of his longing for an unattainable dream. 5. Eudaimonics. The term eudaimonic comes from Aristotle's concept of eudaimonia, meaning a life well lived. In storytelling, this principle refers to the moral or philosophical depth of a story, the profound meaning that makes it linger in the minds of audiences. Great stories don't just entertain, they offer insights into the human condition. They help us make sense of life's challenges, struggles and triumphs. Through that they create eudaimonic happiness, the satisfaction that comes from overcoming obstacles. For instance, The Shawshank Redemption is not just a story about a man escaping prison, it's about hope, resilience, and eventually joy in the power of the human spirit. 6. The God moment. The God moment is the powerful, transformative revelation that occurs near the climax of a story. It is the moment when a character experiences a fundamental realization, a moment of truth or a new level of control that reshapes their world. These moments are deeply moving because they tap into our need for meaning and transcendence. They often serve as the culmination of the character's journey, where they finally understand what they've been seeking all along. A great example is Neo's awakening in The Matrix, where he finally sees the truth about reality and embraces his full potential, making a dramatic transformation in his character. Will Storr's 6 principles of storytelling offer a framework for creating deeply engaging and meaningful narratives. These principles reflect fundamental aspects of human psychology, and by incorporating these principles into storytelling, you can create narratives that do more than entertain. They move, challenge, and transform audiences. If you would like any further help with this or any other subject, then do click on the related links or head over to the website at www.therightquestions.co.